don't necessarily have issue with the fact that there may or may not be a God, but I do have an issue with saying there is a God.
Okay, so the reason why I'm asking that is because there are certain people like deists, for example, and they acknowledge the existence of a higher power. But have you heard deists? Yeah. So they affirm the existence of a higher power, like whatever it is above. But they don't subscribe to religion. So you don't have to believe in a religion to know that there is the creator.
No, but there's a difference between knowing that there's a God and believing that there's a God. So a theist, by definition, believes in God, right?
Well, you have to be more specific. A theist mean not only affirming the existence of the creator, but the creator intervenes and he sends prophets and he sends revelations to his creation.
Okay, sure.
Because the deists, they say that the creator exists, but he doesn't do anything.
Okay.
But we don't believe in that.
So do you believe that we are just random, that we just came into existence by randomness?
I accept that as a possibility.
Okay. Okay, so if I said to you, a jumbo jet that's flying at 500 miles per hour, 45,000 feet, came into existence by itself, by nothing, through nothing, by nothing that came before it or after it. It's just randomly the electrical, mechanical, the metals came all together simultaneously by chance, and it just literally started flying by itself. Is that believable?
No, but at the same time, that's because we have invented jumbo jets in the time that humans have been around, right? We've invented jumbo jets very recently. They haven't been around for a very long time. The universe has been, well, it depends. My religion is different.
Okay, but you know as well as I do that for someone to create or make a jumbo jet has to have knowledge about mechanics, has to have knowledge.
So given the length of the universe by scientific standards, which is 14 point something billion years old, right? It's a very, very long time. So in that time, there are near infinite, well not near infinite, there are a huge amount of random things that happen, given like the size of the universe as well. So think about the universe being nearly infinitely big, again not infinite, don't know, and extremely old, and the amount of random things that can happen within that space of time. And then also bear in mind it's a gradual process, right? We didn't materialize out of nowhere. I'm not saying we randomly materialized.
But can you explain to me how randomness can create complexity?
Yeah.
How does okay, if I had 10 dices in my hand, right, and I rolled the dices, right, and then I said to you that those dices formed a sentence saying, thank you for coming here today, right? By randomness, right? What are the chances of that randomness coming to existence? Just tell me the chance out of 1 out of 10.
Okay, so you see these not smiling. It's interesting you said that because I had this exact same conversation yesterday, right? So,
do you know them? Snap.
But, do you understand what I'm saying?
I know you're saying it's a very low chance, and it's an even lower chance that you have a complex
Why
being.
is it a lower chance though? Explain to me, why is it a lower chance that if I had...
How you doing, brother? Good? Alhamdulillah, nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. Alhamdulillah. Good to see you.
Right? Why is it a less chance of that forming a sentence that's actually meaningful? Why is it less chance of it?
Because there's a lot of possibilities. There's a huge amount of numbers or combinations that they can form. So the fact that it forms a coherent sentence, it forming a coherent sentence is the chance of that's low in comparison to it forming a random jumble numbers, because there's much more nonsense that those marbles can spell out than coherent sentences.
I agree with you. Right? I agree with you.
So in that situation, you're saying the chances of our existence through randomness are like infinitesimally small, correct?
No. What I'm saying is that evolutionists, as well as people who do not believe in God or agnostic, one thing they cannot explain is complexities of something. Like for example, okay, so explain to me.
It's a gradual process. It doesn't go from nothing to complex beings, right? The universe didn't start. There wasn't the Big Bang and then bang, humans straight. That's not how it happens. So even the Big Bang, we don't know if that's a fact or not. It's a theory, right? But say we take the Big Bang, right? The Big Bang happens.
So you're not sure about anything.
Well, no, but like in general, we aren't sure about it.
It's
The
very-
scientific community is not clear.
It's very interesting that you brought up about the scientific method. How can you scientifically prove to me probability exists? Probability is not even a. Probability is just a. It's an abstract. It's not an entity.
It's what we've named something.
Let's understand one thing. What's the definition of scientific method? The scientific method is the study of the physical world through experimentation, repeatability, and testability, correct? That is the definition of the scientific method, yeah. Right. So science can only verify things that are physical, something that's tangible. Okay? Now, how can you prove to me from scientific method that probability exists? Probability is not even an entity.
No, because probability isn't something that we need to prove that exists. Probability is what we've assigned to some, like say, I don't know, like say with dice. The probability that a dice will land 1 out of 6. If you throw a dice 6 times, right? No way.
But here's the thing that you misunderstood, because you're using empiricism. Yeah, you're using
I don't understand your argument. What do you mean by prove probability?
Okay,
What's the alternative to
no, because probability is an abstract. It's not an entity. It's not something that you can see, you can test under the microscope.
It's a way of testing.
No, it's not.
It's like maths. Like numbers are abstract, but that doesn't.
Exactly. So how can you prove scientifically that numbers exist?
Numbers
empirically
don't exist in that regard.
So here's the thing. The reason why you believe in mathematics is not because of through scientific method. It's not because of that. It's because we as human beings, we conceptualize. That number one, can you prove to me? Yeah.
Mathematics works. So say numbers, right?
Yeah.
Numbers work. So say there's 3 things, right?
Yes.
I've said there's 3 things.
Yeah.
That's the reason numbers work to quantify.
But that's just an idea.
It's an idea, but it works.
But it's not empirical.
But it works.
No. Here's what you don't
What do you
understand.
mean it's not empirical?
That's the scientific method. The scientific method is through observation, repeatability, and experimentation, right? Probability is a model that is not an entity. It's not something that you can test under the
I'm
microscope.
not mistaken, you're comparing maths, probability, numbers,
It's all
and
linked.
how you can't prove them to how you can't prove the fact
But
that
then
there's
why
a
do you
God.
okay?
I believe in one, but I don't believe in the other.
So why do you subscribe to a probabilistic model that we have no empirical evidence for it?
Because if something works to find, like, we can find results using numbers, probability, right?
Okay, I understand that.
I can't find results using religion. I
Hey,
can't say
yeah.
this happens because of religion and say that's a fact. We don't say
We're not-
this happened because of maths.
No, we're not talking about religion. What we're saying is, even in the scientific method, even reasoning and rationality is embedded. Yeah. So you have to use every avenue of knowledge that's available.
Which is
So
why I don't subscribe to atheism either. That's why I don't say there is definitely no God.
Okay.
In my mind, that is like I don't see religion as logical per se.
I understand.
But in my mind, atheism is equally as illogical.
So you do take reasoning into consideration. So not just the scientific
But
method.
that's the point of scientific method, is to see like different possibilities. That's what theories are.
Okay, so you don't say seeing is believing. You believe in metaphysical things like consciousness.
So do you have to see something to believe in?
Yeah.
But I also
It's a proof.
things that I can't see. I consider the fact that they may be as true. I also consider them not being.
Okay, I want to ask you this, right? The universe, right, is tilting 23 degrees on its axis. Okay? The universe is tilting 23 degrees on its axis. If this universe was too close to the sun, we would cease to exist. If this universe, the Earth. If this universe was too far away from the sun, we would freeze to death.
Yeah.
Explain to me, right, because you believe in randomness, right?
Yeah.
Right. So explain to me, how is it possible, right, for the universe to be on its correct axis, right, that's tilting 23 degrees? How is it possible that can explain to me rationally how can that be
How
random?
can the Earth be on the correct axis for us to not die?
Sorry?
How can the Earth be on the correct axis relative to the Sun for us to be alive right now?
Absolutely.
Because
Explain.
there are billions of other planets in which planets are close to the Sun, right? And they are on the wrong axis and there is no life there. There are billions and billions and billions and billions of planets in which there are no life, so in which there is no life, in which nothing occurs.
So
because
how
they
is
are
it
the
that
wrong-
this universe, we have the correct facilities like water, we have air, we have oxygen, right?
That's
We
cool.
have-
Well, that's
we
what I'm
have-
saying. It's a game of chance, right? So say you have
No, but why does
20
Randomness doesn't
say you've
exist.
got a dice,
Randomness
right?
doesn't
Say you've got a
exist.
dice with
Doesn't exist.
23 million sides, right? And you throw that dice over and over and over again.
Yeah.
99.99999% of the time, it's not going to land on the number 2. However, one time eventually, despite the probability being so low, if you give it 14.3 billion years, and you have like an infinite amount of space to do it, and you've got an infinite amount of dice rolling at the same time, eventually it's going to land on that number. And it's going to land on that number several times. I don't believe so. Would you say that we
So
are
hold
the
on,
only
do you believe
planet?
that the universe is eternal?
I can't say that. Again,
So you're unsure about anything?
I'm trying to understand something. Because
everybody is unsure about
No.
related.
I'm certain that I exist. I'm certain that I exist.
so do you?
Okay.
Hold on.
Sorry, one second. Look. They believe in the existence of God. We can give you rational and decisive proofs,
But they're based
right?
on something that isn't rational.
I'll give you, there's an argument in the Quran. And there's an argument in the Quran, I don't know if the brothers have already shared this with you. The Quran gives a powerful argument for people who deny or doubt the existence of the Creator, like yourself. The Quran mentions in chapter 52, verse 35 to 36. It says, أَمْ خُلِقُوا مِنْ غَيْرِ شَيْءٍ أَمْ هُمُ الْخَالِقُونَ أَمْ خَلَقُوا السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ بَلْ لَا يُوقِنُونَ. Or were they created from nothing? Or did they create themselves? Or did they create the heavens and the earth? Surely they have no firm belief. So let's analyze this. This is supposed to be a rhetorical argument for you. Yeah? Nothing cannot bring into something because nothing itself is not even a thing, let alone something. Okay? So we can rule that out. Did you create yourself? That's impossible. That's impossible because you are then postulating that you exist and not exist at the same time. Either you always existed or you have a beginning. It's like saying that you gave that our mothers gave birth to themselves, and that is illogical and irrational.
Again,
So the only evidence, the only option that is left on the table, there has to be the originator. There has to be the creator that always existed. No beginning, no end. That's a rational proof.